don't have a secret.
Are you an illegal alien?
I think it's the Scottish in me.
She thought, I like the look of that. Well, summer is well and truly over in Portugal. We've had so much rain the last couple of days. It's been hooning it down all morning, but the winds have just come through really strong. They've pushed it all out the way and we've got a beautiful, sunny, albeit very windy afternoon. So we're getting out and making the best of it. So we've got a number of jobs that we need to get done across the property over the next few days. One of which is the seemingly never-ending task of the stonework down here on the tiny house. We're pressing on trying to get as much done as possible, but stonework is slow. And while we're working our way through our list of jobs, we figured we'd kill two birds with one stone and answer some of your most frequently asked questions, because you guys have been nosy lately. We've been getting lots of questions. I don't know whether it's because we've got lots of new people with us, but either way, lots of them are the same. So you want to know, we're going to answer. Nothing too salacious, just for anybody out there. Don't want to clickbait this. All things about us, about the farm, about the project. Polite questions that have been asked by you. But yeah, we figured do some work, answer some questions. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's go.
Right, time for the first question, and that is, do we have experience in renovations? Short answer, no. We did have a house back in the UK which we owned for about 5 years, and during that time we did very minor DIY projects, including spending what felt like a year on our hands and knees doing the gloss on the skirting board. But no, we don't really have any experience until now of renovations, and certainly nothing on this scale or anything that included any building work. If we'd had renovation experience, do you reckon we'd even have taken on this place?
Definitely not. I think being naive is a good thing to have taken on something like this. I mean, it is crazy thinking back to it now, of when we had our house back in the UK. All we really did was like light decorated, really, wasn't it? Like, we had a plasterer come in to skim a few walls. Victoria's uncle's an electrician. He helped us out with that. Other than that, we actually didn't do much else. Some new carpets, again, installed by a
Carpet man?
Yeah, like at that time, I wouldn't have tackled 90% of the stuff we've done here. And that is one thing I will say, since we've started this, confidence has grown massively. There's not too many things anymore, realistically, that I'm daunted by.
Yeah, I think also when you're left with a shell, you don't have to worry too much about ruining anything if you're starting from nothing. Now, this next question's one I actually am quite keen to know the answer of. When's the building going to be done?
Next question.
Pass.
So the honest answer to that question is, we don't know. When we first started out doing this project, we kind of didn't really set a deadline because we didn't have any experience of doing any of these things. We had no idea how long it would take. As things have progressed, obviously things have taken longer than we possibly thought they would have, but we've kind of had to come to the conclusion throughout the job, we could have just rushed through and done things much quicker than we did. However, we would both much prefer it take longer, and we were really happy with the results at the end, because not only are we going to have to live in it, our guests are going to live in it in the future, we're going to have to look at this thing every day. Yeah, the answer is we don't know, but we're trying to press on from here on out and get it done as quick as we can, but without compromising on the quality.
The only thing I will say is 2025. It's not going to be. I mean, it's a window, it's a big window, but 2025. I just want to say a quick thank you to Reolink, who are sponsoring today's video and who sent us this, the Altus PT Ultra. If you've heard us mention Reolink before, then you know that we really rate their home monitoring cameras. We've already got a few watching over the land. They're simple to set up, they're super reliable, and they're eco-friendly because they can be powered by the sun. The footage is really detailed and the battery capacity is massive. For example, on a single charge, it can record in 4K Ultra HD continuously for 12 hours per day for up to 8 days. Or if you're using it in the standard working mode, it'll last around 16 months between charges. I think it's fair to say if you've made the effort to have a security camera, it's pretty important that it films everything that you want it to. You're not going to miss any key moments with this because it's the first home battery camera with a pre-record setting, so it actually starts filming before the motion sensor has even been triggered. On the point of not missing anything, the camera can pan around 355 degrees, so it can cover areas that might have previously been left as blind spots. It uses Reolink's ColorX night vision to record high quality nighttime footage in full colour, even in low light. We get peace of mind knowing that we can easily monitor everything that's going on the farm, and we can do it from anywhere with the app. You can quickly view it in real time, or you can watch the footage back later. You're also able to create a schedule for when you want the camera to record, plus you can personalise your settings for what you actually want to be notified about. For example, it recognises animals, people and vehicles, but maybe you only want to know when a vehicle is captured. A quick tweak in the settings and you'll only get notifications when you want them. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about the Altus PT Ultra, click our link in the description where they're currently celebrating the launch with a discount of up to 20% off. Thank you again to Reolink for supporting our channel and for helping us keep our beady little eye on the farm.
So at the moment I'm just working on kind of the edges of what's going to be a recessed niche in the wall. We've actually reduced the sides of it from when we first put it in because it was just way too tall and it was going to come down below kind of the top of the bed. So the plan now is to have it a bit shorter, and when we come around and do all the pointing, going to render off like a smooth edge around it, and then we'll put a wooden kind of shelf or sill onto there.
I just popped up to the greenhouse to give it a little bit of a clean, mop down the panels, just give it a bit of general TLC, but I think it's going to need a bit more than a bit of TLC because these panels on the roof seem just to start to disintegrate, and on the outer shell they've just got loads of holes and cracks on them. They haven't quite gone through to this side yet, so it's not leaking exactly, but it's not looking very healthy either, so I think I might have to replace some of these panels. So I can't do my original plan, but what I can do is answer one of our most frequently asked questions, and that is, why aren't we extending the tiny house? Because it is tiny. Internally, it's about 20 metres square or 200 square feet. So for us to live in there, it is going to be tight. But there are reasons behind it. So if we look far into the future, that is going to be our guest house. So it doesn't really need to be any bigger than what it is currently. It's going to be a very comfortable space for anybody to come and stay in. Although it is going to be tight for the 4 of us to live in there, if you saw our layout design, we have managed to fit in pretty much everything into that space. It would undeniably be a little bit more comfortable if we had chosen to extend it and have that extra floor space, but it's only going to delay us getting onto the main house renovation. So this is like our baby project to learn, to develop our skills before we can embark on the main house. That said, we are going to be adding a veranda, so we are going to win a little bit more indoor-outdoor living space. So maybe we are extending. Depends what your definition is.
Hey, big boy. Right, you can answer this one. Keep it PG. How did we meet?
We met at university through your friend and my friend who were going out.
So I lived with my friend, Victoria lived with her friend.
And we'd sort of got similar social circles, so I'd seen him around and...
She thought, I like the look of that.
It's like you can read my mind. So I was thinking, yeah, 4. And then we met properly. You all right, buddy? We met properly at our end of year ball on a Ferris wheel.
How romantic. The rest was history.
We go together like...
Okay, so this is another one we get asked all the time. Oh, I'll come and sit next to you for this. So, are we married? And will we get married?
No, we're not married.
No, we're not married. Will we get married? I mean, neither of us are against it, are we?
No, if I get married, it will definitely be to you.
Well, that's good to know. I mean, we've gone 15 years so far. We've always just prioritised other things
Yeah.
to like spend our money on and things to do, you know. That's kind of it in a nutshell. Maybe we'll do it one day.
Maybe we will. Or maybe we won't.
Yeah. Okay, so this one, I think people are always looking for some sort of juicy, gossipy answer when they ask this, but you're not going to get one, I'm afraid. And the question is, do we fight? Well, yes, to a degree. I mean, we're just normal. We're a normal couple. So yes, we do, but it's always minor. It's never name calling. It's never over anything big. It's always over petty things. Most of the time it's like things if you live with a roommate. It's those same types of arguments. Would you agree?
Yes, I do agree. I think we, granted, live in a big bit of land, but we live almost exclusively 24/7 together in a small space, working together, living together, in a foreign country together. So we are each other's person all of the time. So if we fall out with each other, we're up the creek with no paddles. So if there are disagreements, they are remedied really quickly.
Yeah, you're forced to resolve it.
Yes.
But realistically, they're few and far between.
Yeah. We've never gone longer than like a month without talking.
Maybe. Oh, I feel so pretty.
You are, darling.
So we're just preparing for one final little job that we need to do on the new solar install. We didn't have the components we needed last time to properly ground all of the panels and the frame. Just realised I haven't even bought the things we need for the job down, so let's go and grab them and I'll show you what they are. So these are the things we need to slot in to our frames to ground them, and these little lugs to connect all the panels together. There's one strange thing about Portugal. There is solar everywhere. And for some reason, well, particularly in our area, it seems to be really difficult to get hold of little components like this. So again, it was another online order. I suppose that's probably a good segue to touch on one question we get asked all the time, and I'll keep this one brief because we've done a whole video on it. But that question is, why did we choose Portugal? Well, it wasn't for the convenience of shopping, I'll tell you that much, but it's everything else. You know, the weather is great. Spring, autumn, even winter is really mild. The people are super friendly. We absolutely love the mountainous, hilly, kind of just wide, vast landscape of Portugal. But yeah, like I said, we made a whole video, so if you want to know the answer to that question, dig through the old videos and you'll find that one. It's too small.
Oh, so some are too big and some are too small. So do you reckon we need to move them?
Yes. We just haven't got enough earth wire to get from the frame, loop it down and come back up. So we're gonna have to drill our own holes.
It took a bit of work getting this solar set up down here, but we're both really chuffed with how it's performing so far. We have had a few gloomy, rainy days, but it's given it a chance to be tested, and we've actually ended up having full batteries every day, so well done, solar system. One massive improvement is that we can catch the morning sun now in this new spot. So for example, this morning, this area was in sun, whereas the previous spot was still in total shade. And not only did we have some sun on these panels, we were actually hauling in more watts. Yeah. More watts than we would have been on a completely sunny day in the previous spot. So it's super efficient being down here.
Are you an illegal alien?
What do you mean?
Just about our residency being here post-Brexit.
So we arrived in Portugal towards the end of the Brexit transition period, and that meant that we were treated just like any other EU citizen was at that time. So we could just simply go to our local town hall and take a few different bits of paperwork like our bank statements and prove that we could financially support ourselves. But it was really, really simple. We had to do that process, I think, in the first 90 days. And then after that, we were given our residency papers, and then that was it, happy days for the next 5 years. That's not the case anymore for people from the UK. You'd have to get a visa before you even leave the UK and arrive here. It's a lot more complicated. So for us, we are pretty glad that we managed to get it tied up before the end of the period.
Okay, so we're all done. So connected to the frames here, to the panels here, and as you can see, one continuous wire going all the way down, linking them all together. Checked them all for continuity and everything's good. The only problem we had was that the earth wire we got was just a bit too short. I mean, it can just about make it down to the earth rod, but you know, it's pretty precarious out here. It's a bit of a trip hazard. So another day, you're going to cut it short, run it into the box, have like an earth bus bar in there and just run it out together with the other one. And before anybody comes at me in the comments, I know that the wires on here are a mess. We basically just haven't had any cable ties or any wire tidies of any description to clean them all up. So that's a job for another day. I'll spare you all of that, but it will be neat and tidy soon.
I was just going to start filling up the beds with the compost, but then Mister had a better idea, so we're having a bit of fuss.
Always time for a bit of fuss.
And then a bit more. These two on one more.
These ones had better survive.
Oh no. Now that we've actually made the beds vole-proof, I've dared to put some seedlings back in because it was just a fool's errand to keep planting when they were still running rampant. But I'm cautiously optimistic about this. Going into the cooler weather, I think, as well, will be easier going for the plants. I missed you too.
So, I don't know if this is a good or bad time to ask you this, but one comment that we get all the time is, how does Victoria have such manicured, nice nails when she's doing all filthy work like this? What's your secret?
Not great timing, I don't think. Not a good example. I don't have a secret. I'm just very fortunate that I have particularly strong nails so they don't break constantly. I think it's the Scottish in me. My granny had nails of rock, so I think I inherited that part. Apart from just wearing gloves all the time, not right now, and definitely wearing gloves if you do the washing up, that's my only secret.
Okay, so while the water is mixing, gonna get to the next question. Well, two questions tied into the same topic. The first one is, where do we live while we're doing the renovations on the tiny house?
Here, in this main building on the property. There are two buildings. There's a tiny house that we're working on, and then this one here.
Yeah, so this is gonna be kind of the main house in the future. It's effectively
Sounds in the future.
Well, it will be in the future. We've got another renovation project to do first with the tiny house. We need to build a workshop because we're also using this kind of as a workshop. But yeah, the tiny house is obviously really small. This is a bit bigger. It's about 85 square meters. It's kind of the same size as a generous sort of one bedroom apartment.
I do get why we get questions about where we live, because we very, very rarely film inside. We have done it before, but we don't often film in there.
And that kind of leads to the second question, which we always get, is can you show us more of the main house, the inside that is? Right, so the reason that we don't really show much in there is twofold, really. One is that it's kind of the only place where we have our only little bit of privacy still, because we kind of show everything else that we get up to here, every little corner of the property. And the second reason is that it's a mess, and we're a little bit embarrassed by it, if we're being honest, because it's an unrenovated, very, very old building. Although it is 2 rooms, we're living in 1 room, so that's 1 room for a bed, a kitchen, somewhere to sit and work and eat, somewhere to store all of our stuff, 2 dogs and all their sleeping stuff. It's not a normal or comfortable way to live by any stretch, and you know, we can kind of compartmentalize it by kind of keeping it private and to ourselves, but you start putting it out online and you know, people start thinking you're crazy, which maybe we are, but it's necessary to do this job.
We were actually discussing this the other day about potentially doing a little tour of the inside in a coming video. We've got to see if we can pluck up the courage and weather the embarrassment yet. But...
Maybe we'll bite the bullet and show you, but don't get your hopes up because it might not happen. So before we carry on with stonework, we thought we'd close out the questions with a quick fire round of us asking each other questions that we've put together. Now I've got no idea what type of questions Victoria's got for me. We sort of didn't really discuss a vibe or a theme or anything, just let's ask each other some questions.
This could go bad.
Do you want to go first or second?
You can answer first.
Okay.
Feeling nervous?
Yeah, I've got a dry mouth all of a sudden.
Are you ready?
Okay, hit me.
Who's the better cook?
That's hard.
Hesitation.
I'd say we're fairly even.
What's one thing I do that drives you mad?
What do you do that drives me mad? Leaving cupboard doors open, not putting things back where they should be, etc., etc.
I am your genie. I can grant you a wish to instantly make you a master of any skill. What skill would you choose?
The same question for you.
Great minds.
Guitar virtuoso.
Favourite sitcom?
Fraser.
What food's your guilty pleasure?
Oh, like super noodles. Oh, that wasn't too bad. Nothing that made me squirm too much. We got a little bit of lap over though. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. If you could have any animal as a pet, can be wild, exotic, what would it be?
Elephant.
Dirty Dancing or Mamma Mia?
Come on. Dirty Dancing. Patrick all the way.
A good night out or a great night's sleep?
Oh. Why am I hesitating? Sleep.
If you could be a master of one thing, what would it be?
Okay, well, you said that this was duplication, so I'm going to take it that you are my genie, and I'm going to ask that I can speak to anybody and anything, because I really, really want to have a chat with the dogs, because I feel like they're super wise and I feel like they could give me a lot of insight about my life.
Okay, last one. You can have one food for every meal for the rest of time. What would it be?
Can I make it a basic meal?
Yes.
Granola and Greek yogurt. What a crazy kid I am.